Hey everyone, Ben Coomber Radio, episode number 198. Now, if you're watching this on video, either on Facebook or YouTube, you'll see I'm wearing the England Rose. What an amazing weekend of rugby. I don't know how delayed you're watching this podcast. Awesome to beat the Australians. Being a rugby fan, I'm obviously pumped up about that. So, yeah, amazing. How good was Haskell, Rob Shaw? Yeah, the team in general. Anyway, so talking of sport, we just mentioned rugby. We just mentioned the weekend, which was England versus Australia. I wanted to talk today for just 5 minutes. This is a quick show. It's the new format on a Monday. I just wanted to mention sports nutrition and kind of personalising your nutrition to get the most out of your performance and recovery, because a lot of you might play sport, you might train in the gym, you might have an active lifestyle, and when we're looking at our nutrition, when we're looking at personalising it, there's always a lot of questions raised by people of how do I optimise my body composition? How do I optimise recovery? How do I optimise performance? Now, there's always a fine line between body composition and performance, and that's why there's a large amount of athletes that don't look like bodybuilders, and sometimes we have this expectation in our head that an athlete should look like a bodybuilder, always be really ripped, like, oh, they do loads of training, they're always in the gym, they should look really ripped. Well, actually, looking really ripped all the time is pretty unfunctional from an energy point of view, because it doesn't mean you have much reserves in your tank. It means you can't take hits and knocks. And generally it's harder to maintain that, because you've always got to battle this fine line of, oh, I've got to maintain my performance, and oh, I've got to be really lean. So that's why a lot of athletes are, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, maybe even more body fat percentage plus, because their focus is on performance. Now, I want to draw an example to help me refine my point, and the point of today's show is that I was in the garden at the weekend. I was very active. I was mowing the lawn. I've got this petrol mower. It's hard. I've got a bit of gradient in my garden. I've got to really work quite hard to do the gardening, to be honest. And that is going to burn quite a lot of calories. I was out there for a good 2 hours, trimmed a bit of hedge and stuff. Was doing a lot of bending down, picking up. That's quite a bit of active activity. I then got in the gym. I did a really good squat session, probably burned a good 400 calories in that workout. So if I looked at how I would usually train and operate in my day, let's look at, me getting up. I would usually do 20 minutes of walking in the morning, 20 minutes of walking in the evening, walking the dog, and then do an hour of, moderately intense training. I say moderately intense because some of it's strength work, so it's quite a bit of rest, and then a bit of intense performance, and then a bit more rest, and then there might be some kind of conditioning, superset based stuff, more hypertrophy based movements and loading. Now, that can be a very linear assumption. So I can work out my daily calorie intake as a result of walking 40 minutes a day, being very sedentary, my base BMR, and the training on top. So I can quite easily eat the same every day. So for me, that's around 3,300, 3,500 calories per day. But then I've got this added variable, and this is where we need to change things, because if recovery and performance is key to you, you've got to adjust things. So at the weekend on Sunday, I was in the garden. I did a lot of mowing, moving about. So how am I going to account for those calories? If I don't, and you do, let's say you only do a little bit, let's say you did half an hour in the garden, the chances are you might not even think about it, whatever, that's cool. But as soon as you start doing a lot more activity outside your daily normal intake, you should consider it. Because if I hadn't eaten a bit more, which I did, I ate an extra 400 calories. If I hadn't eaten more, I might wake up today maybe a little bit sorer than I should be, a little bit less in the tank, a little bit overall recovery. And later on today, I'm going to want to go in the gym today. I'm actually going to do a bit more gardening today because I didn't get it all done yesterday, hoping the weather is alright. If I didn't do that, then I might not be able to perform effectively. And because I'm not someone that is really adamant about my body composition, from the fact that I'm trying to maintain, 8, 9, 10% body fat, I'm very happy at kind of 11, 12, 13% body fat. It's a lot more maintainable for me. Now, because of these processes, it becomes a lot easier to manage my performance and recovery. I'm able to feel good while not being overly dogmatic about body composition. Now, if you're someone that is really focused on body composition, staying lean, they want that, they need that, then bear in mind that you're not always going to be optimal from a recovery and performance perspective, because you're always towing that really fine line between body composition and performance. And this is why, I try and get people to think about, well, do you actually want to be that lean? Is it that important to you? Because your sleep might be affected, your recovery might be affected, your performance might be affected. And actually, like I've said a lot recently, there's a lot more to life than just looking really lean and being in the gym and living the fitness lifestyle. I look pretty good with my top off. I could look a lot better. Sure, yeah, I could look a lot better. But I'm very happy sitting at sort of 12% body fat, and because I've got half decent muscle mass, it kind of looks all right. Obviously, the more muscle mass you have, the higher a body fat percentage you can have, while still looking kind of good. Like if you have low levels of muscle mass and you're trying to get really lean to get that cover model body look, then you're going to really struggle because you don't actually have enough muscle mass to look that good. So sometimes you do have to go on a journey when you're looking at dedicated muscle building to make sure that you can just look that way. You've got to have enough muscle to look muscular, and sometimes I don't think enough people are realising that. I spent absolutely years when I was younger trying to get leaner, when actually I just needed more muscle, and went on that muscle building journey, and now I look loads better as a result of it. So have a think about that. Have a look about how the dynamics of your environment change, how you need to adjust things, and then go from there. Because ultimately, otherwise, recovery, performance, body composition, overall energy and well-being are going to suffer. Now, I've just finished writing a sports nutrition ebook. Ages ago, I wrote the nutrition blueprint. If you haven't grabbed a copy of that, grab a copy. You can get it at bencoomber.com in the book section. You can get it over at bodytypenutrition.co.uk in the shop section. If you haven't looked at that, that is a blueprint of how to eat, how to set up a diet, how to start to manage your lifestyle more effectively. It is my brain in a book on a basic to intermediate level. So if you haven't ever read that, I'd highly recommend you read it. And then this sports nutrition ebook is going to go a lot more into the advanced application of sports nutrition, how to manipulate the variables, all sorts. That's going to be coming out in about 2 weeks' time. So stay peeled. I will announce it on the podcast, social media, etc. And then if you are someone that wants to get geeky with your daily energy expenditure and you want to know how to change things a bit more, like you might go for a long run one day, do a gym session another day, do lots of walking another day. To help you with that, if you go to awesomesupplements.co.uk and then go to the footer at the bottom of the website, there is a button that says calorie calculator. That is an advanced calorie calculator we've devised, where you can start to change half an hour slots in all of your day. So basically you input 48 slots of 30 minutes. Now you might say that's a little bit geeky, and it is. It's geeky because this is a tool for geeky people to work out what you should eat on different days when your energy expenditure changes quite a lot, so that we can start to account on a greater level for our recovery and performance. Now the only caveat with using that is a lot of people overestimate how intensely they train. Like if you think you're training intensely in the gym for an hour, hour and a half, are you actually? Is it actually that you're training intensely for 20 minutes? If you take a typical bodybuilding workout, how much of that actual workout time is intense training and how much is sitting around, waiting for the next set? You have to bear that in mind, because that's not an hour of intense training. It might be 15 or 20 minutes of intense training. It's very different. That's why cardio is quite often easier to calculate, because you're running at a consistent cadence, consistent speed, intensity, heart rate, whatever you're using to track that intensity. It can quite often be easier, whereas strength training, metabolic conditioning can often be a lot more difficult. So, ebook's coming soon. It will be in hard copy as well. I know a lot of people love hard copy. We've sold a lot more hard copies of the Nutrition Blueprint than we have the ebook. I personally a lot more prefer, tangible, something to read. So grab a copy of that. Have a look at the Awesome Supplements Calculator. But above and beyond, have a look at what you do every day. Now let's start to really get on top of recovery, performance and body composition, and bear in mind where you think you should be. Right, Thursday's show, I will be on with a guest. Otherwise, if you want more from me, check me out on social media, Ben Coomber. I know you already follow me. Engage, get involved, don't be silent. Comment on Facebook, like things, say hello, retweet stuff, shout me on Instagram. Just get involved in the conversation. I put a lot of effort into all the free information that I put out into this world. Please do the honour of engaging back, talking, liking, sharing. It means the world to me. And all that leaves me to say is have an awesome day. Hey everyone, Ben Coomber Radio, episode number 197. I know last week